Have you ever met someone who walks into a room like they own the place? They speak loudly, act like they have all the answers, and seem completely sure of themselves. At first glance, you might think, wow, this person is incredibly confident. But what if that confidence isn't real? What if it's just a mask hiding something very different underneath? The truth is that real confidence and fake confidence often look similar from a distance. Both can appear strong, bold, and fearless. But when you look closer, the differences become impossible to ignore. Genuine confidence comes from self-acceptance, experience, and inner security. Fake confidence, on the other hand, is usually built on fear. Fear of being judged, rejected, exposed, or seen as not good enough. Many people spend years trying to convince the world that they're confident. They carefully choose their words, their appearance, and even the way they walk. They want others to believe they are successful, powerful, and unshakable. But maintaining that image is exhausting. Eventually, small cracks begin to appear. The mask starts slipping. And if you know what signs to look for, you can often tell the difference between someone who truly believes in themselves and someone who is desperately trying to look like they do. What's fascinating is that fake confidence doesn't always come from arrogance. In fact, some of the people who appear the most confident on the surface are secretly battling deep insecurity. They may constantly seek validation, compare themselves to others, or feel threatened whenever someone else succeeds. Their confidence depends on external approval, and without it, their self-image quickly falls apart. Psychologists have long observed that people who lack genuine self-confidence often develop behaviors designed to protect their ego. They may dominate conversations, exaggerate achievements, dismiss criticism, or try to impress everyone around them. These actions can create the illusion of confidence, but underneath lies uncertainty. So how can you tell when confidence is real and when it's just a performance? What hidden behaviors reveal that someone is overcompensating for insecurity? And why do so many people mistake loudness for strength and attention-seeking for self-belief? In today's video, we're uncovering *10 signs someone is faking confidence. These signs are subtle, powerful, and surprisingly common. Some may remind you of people you've met, worked with, or even admired. And if you're honest with yourself, you might recognize a few of these behaviors in your own life as well. Stay until the end because the final sign is one that most people completely overlook, and once you notice it, you'll never see confidence the same way again. Let's begin. 1. They constantly need validation. One of the clearest signs that someone is faking confidence is their constant need for validation. At first, they may appear self-assured and successful, but if you pay attention, you'll notice that much of their confidence depends on how others react to them. They crave compliments, praise, and recognition because these things temporarily fill a gap inside them. A genuinely confident person appreciates positive feedback, but they don't depend on it. Their sense of worth comes from within. They know who they are, whether people applaud them or not. Someone with fake confidence is different. They constantly seek reassurance that they are smart, attractive, successful, or important. Without that reassurance, their confidence begins to fade. You might see this behavior on social media, where some people obsess over likes, comments, and shares. If their post receives less attention than expected, they become frustrated or anxious. In conversations, they may frequently mention their accomplishments, hoping others will praise them. They may even fish for compliments by downplaying themselves just to hear someone say something positive. The problem is that external validation never provides lasting confidence. It creates a cycle where the person constantly needs more approval to feel good about themselves. The moment that approval disappears, so does their sense of security. Real confidence remains stable because it is built on self-respect rather than the opinions of others. That's why a constant need for validation often reveals that the confidence being displayed is not as genuine as it seems. 2. They talk more than they listen. Another strong sign that someone is faking confidence is their tendency to talk far more than they listen. They often dominate conversations, interrupt others, and seem determined to make every discussion revolve around themselves. On the surface, this behavior can look like confidence. However, in many cases, it is actually a way of hiding insecurity. People with genuine confidence do not feel the need to prove their intelligence or importance every minute. They are comfortable listening to different opinions and learning from others. They understand that being confident doesn't mean always being the loudest person in the room. In fact, some of the most confident people are excellent listeners. Someone who is faking confidence often fears being overlooked or appearing uninformed. As a result, they keep talking to maintain control of the conversation. They may interrupt others before they finish speaking, or quickly shift the topic back to themselves. They want to create the impression that they know everything, even when they don't. This behavior can make relationships difficult because people eventually feel unheard and unappreciated. Instead of creating respect, constant talking often pushes others away. Real confidence allows a person to listen without feeling threatened. They don't need to dominate every conversation because they are secure enough to let others have the spotlight. When someone constantly talks over people and rarely shows genuine curiosity about what others have to say, it may be a sign that their confidence is more performance than reality. 3. They can't handle criticism. One of the biggest differences between real confidence and fake confidence is how a person reacts to criticism. Someone with genuine confidence understands that nobody is perfect. They can accept feedback, learn from mistakes, and improve without feeling personally attacked. They may not enjoy criticism, but they can handle it with maturity. A person who is faking confidence often reacts very differently. Even the smallest criticism can trigger defensiveness, anger, or excuses. Instead of considering whether the feedback is valid, they immediately try to protect their image. This happens because their confidence is fragile. Deep down, they are afraid that criticism will expose weaknesses they work hard to hide. You may notice them blaming others whenever something goes wrong. They rarely admit fault and often find ways to justify their mistakes. If someone points out an area where they need improvement, they may become hostile or dismissive. Their goal is not to learn but to avoid feeling vulnerable. This reaction reveals an important truth. Real confidence is strong enough to survive criticism. Fake confidence depends on maintaining a perfect image. The moment that image is challenged, the person feels threatened. That's why they often overreact to feedback that most people would consider normal. The ability to accept criticism calmly is a sign of emotional strength. Those who possess genuine confidence understand that feedback is not an attack on their worth. It is simply information that can help them grow. People who cannot tolerate criticism often reveal that their confidence is built on a shaky foundation rather than true self-belief. 4. They always try to one-up others. Have you ever shared a personal achievement only to have someone immediately respond with a bigger achievement of their own? This behavior is known as one-upping, and it is often a sign of fake confidence. Instead of celebrating other people's successes, these individuals feel compelled to prove that they are better, smarter, richer, or more successful. At first, this may seem like competitiveness, but it often comes from insecurity. Someone who is genuinely confident doesn't feel threatened by the accomplishments of others. They can be happy for someone else's success without comparing it to their own. Their self-worth is not dependent on being superior to everyone around them. People who fake confidence often view life as a constant competition. Whenever someone tells a story, they feel the need to tell a bigger story. Whenever someone shares an achievement, they immediately bring up something they have done that they believe is more impressive. This behavior is their way of protecting their ego and maintaining a sense of importance. Over time, people notice this pattern. Instead of appearing confident, the person begins to look insecure and attention-seeking. Relationships can suffer because others feel that their experiences and achievements are never acknowledged. True confidence allows people to celebrate others without feeling diminished. They understand that another person's success does not reduce their own value. When someone constantly tries to outdo everyone around them, it often reveals that they are seeking validation rather than expressing genuine confidence. Their need to be better than everyone else is often a hidden sign that they don't truly believe they are enough. 5. They brag about their achievements. People who fake confidence often feel the need to constantly remind others of their accomplishments. Whether it's money, career success, social status, or personal achievements, they frequently bring these topics into conversations. They want others to see them as impressive, powerful, and successful. While there is nothing wrong with being proud of your achievements, constantly talking about them can sometimes reveal a deeper insecurity. Truly confident people don't need to advertise their success. They let their actions speak for themselves. They understand that their value does not depend on how many people know about their accomplishments. Because they are secure in who they are, they don't feel a constant urge to prove themselves. Someone with fake confidence often fears that people won't recognize their worth unless they continuously point it out. They may exaggerate their achievements, repeat the same success stories over and over, or look for opportunities to mention their accomplishments, even when they are unrelated to the conversation. The irony is that excessive bragging often has the opposite effect. Instead of appearing strong and impressive, it can make someone seem insecure and desperate for approval. People begin to wonder why the person feels such a strong need to constantly prove their value. Real confidence is quiet. It doesn't need a spotlight. It doesn't need applause every day. When someone constantly talks about how successful they are, they may be trying to convince themselves just as much as they are trying to convince everyone else. 6. They seek attention everywhere. Another common sign of fake confidence is an endless desire for attention. These individuals often want to be the center of every conversation, every event, and every social situation. If attention shifts to someone else, they quickly look for a way to bring it back to themselves. At first, this behavior can appear charismatic. They may seem outgoing, energetic, and socially skilled. However, over time, a pattern becomes clear. Their happiness and confidence seem to depend on being noticed. When they are ignored or overlooked, they become uncomfortable or frustrated. Genuinely confident people enjoy attention when it comes naturally, but they don't need it to feel valuable. They are comfortable sitting quietly, supporting others, and allowing someone else to shine. Their self-worth remains stable regardless of whether they are receiving attention. People who fake confidence often use attention as a source of validation. Every compliment, reaction, or moment of recognition provides a temporary boost to their self-esteem. Unfortunately, this creates a cycle where they constantly need more attention to maintain that feeling. Over time, this behavior becomes exhausting for both the individual and the people around them. Relationships may suffer because others feel that every interaction revolves around one person's need for recognition. The strongest people in the room are often not the ones demanding attention. They are the ones who remain comfortable and secure whether people are watching or not. That quiet security is what separates real confidence from a performance designed to attract approval. 7. They act superior to other people. One of the most misleading signs of fake confidence is acting superior to others. Some people constantly behave as if they are smarter, more successful, or more important than everyone around them. They may look down on others, dismiss different opinions, or treat people with disrespect. Many people mistake this behavior for confidence, but true confidence doesn't require superiority. In reality, those who genuinely believe in themselves don't need to make others feel small. They understand that everyone has strengths and weaknesses, and they treat people with respect regardless of status. People who fake confidence often use superiority as a defense mechanism. Deep down, they may fear not being good enough. By convincing themselves that everyone else is inferior, they temporarily protect their fragile self-esteem. This attitude can appear in many forms. They may constantly criticize others, mock people's mistakes, or act as though they are always right. They may refuse to acknowledge other people's talents because doing so would threaten their sense of importance. The problem is that arrogance often pushes people away. Respect is earned through character and competence, not through making others feel inferior. Over time, people begin to see through the act. Real confidence creates respect because it comes with humility. Truly confident individuals don't need to prove that they are above others. They know their worth and therefore have no reason to compete for status. When someone constantly acts superior, it often reveals insecurity hiding behind a mask of confidence. 8. They avoid admitting mistakes. Nobody likes making mistakes, but confident people understand that mistakes are part of growth. They are willing to admit when they are wrong because they know their value is not destroyed by a single error. In contrast, people who fake confidence often go to great lengths to avoid admitting mistakes. For them, being wrong feels dangerous. It threatens the image they have worked hard to create. As a result, they may deny responsibility, make excuses, or blame others when something goes wrong. You might notice that they rarely say, "I was wrong." Instead, they explain away their failures or try to shift attention elsewhere. Even when evidence clearly shows they made a mistake, they struggle to accept it openly. This behavior stems from insecurity rather than strength. Genuine confidence allows a person to acknowledge flaws without feeling worthless. They understand that mistakes do not define them. In fact, admitting mistakes often earns respect because it demonstrates honesty and maturity. People who fake confidence often believe they must appear perfect at all times. Unfortunately, this unrealistic standard creates stress and prevents personal growth. If you never admit mistakes, you can never fully learn from them. The strongest individuals are not those who never fail. They are those who can face failure honestly and continue moving forward. When someone constantly avoids responsibility and refuses to admit mistakes, it may be a sign that their confidence is built on protecting an image rather than accepting reality. 9. They get threatened by other people's success. A confident person can celebrate another person's success without feeling jealous or insecure. They understand that someone else's achievement does not reduce their own value. However, people who fake confidence often react differently. When they see others succeeding, they feel threatened. Instead of feeling inspired, they experience envy, discomfort, or resentment. They may try to downplay another person's accomplishments or find reasons why the success isn't impressive. This reaction happens because their self-worth depends heavily on comparison. They need to feel superior in order to feel valuable. When someone else achieves something remarkable, it challenges their position and creates insecurity. You might hear them say things like, "They just got lucky," or "It's not that impressive." These comments are often attempts to protect their ego rather than honest observations. Genuinely confident individuals don't see life as a competition where only one person can win. They understand that success is not a limited resource. Another person's achievement doesn't take anything away from them. In fact, secure people often support and encourage others because they are not afraid of being overshadowed. They can appreciate talent and success wherever they see it. When someone consistently reacts negatively to the accomplishments of others, it often reveals hidden insecurity. Their confidence depends on being ahead of everyone else, which means they feel threatened whenever someone else shines. Real confidence celebrates success. Fake confidence competes with it. 10. They look confident only when others are watching. Perhaps the biggest sign of fake confidence is that it only appears when there is an audience. Some people seem bold, powerful, and self-assured in public, but their behavior changes completely when nobody is watching. They may act confident in social situations because they are receiving attention, approval, or admiration. However, when they are alone, uncertainty begins to surface. Their confidence exists primarily as a performance designed for other people. True confidence doesn't depend on an audience. It remains present whether someone is alone or surrounded by a crowd. A genuinely confident person maintains the same values, mindset, and self-respect regardless of who is watching. People who fake confidence often rely on external reactions to feel good about themselves. They become energized when others are paying attention, but struggle when that attention disappears. Their self-image is built on appearance rather than genuine self-belief. This is why they often spend so much effort managing how others perceive them. They carefully control their image, words, and behavior because they fear being exposed as insecure. Eventually, maintaining this performance becomes exhausting. No one can constantly wear a mask without feeling the pressure. Real confidence is far simpler because it comes from self-acceptance rather than public approval. The ultimate difference between real and fake confidence is this. Real confidence exists even in silence, even in solitude, and even when nobody is watching. Fake confidence needs an audience to survive, and once the audience disappears, so does the illusion. As we've seen, fake confidence often looks impressive at first, but over time the truth always reveals itself. Real confidence doesn't need constant validation, attention, or approval from others. It comes from self-respect, self-awareness, and the ability to stay secure even when nobody is watching. The next time you meet someone who seems extremely confident, pay attention to their actions rather than their words. Their behavior will tell you far more than their image ever could. Asterisk. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these 10 signs do you think exposes fake confidence the fastest? Share your answer in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video and learned something valuable, don't forget to subscribe, turn on notifications, and join the community for more psychology and self-improvement content. Asterisk. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.